Hello dear students, in this video I am going to explain stanza 5 and stanza 6 that is written by Bhartrihari, and this poem is translated from Sanskrit language by John Brough in English. The third selection of this poem was about the cynical observation of the ways in which critics react to poetry, and this fifth stanza is pessimistic and dour vision that negates any joy in man's life on this earth. This is the substance of the fourth selection. The bleakness of these events and activities which are significant in human lives, work, and marriage. So, the lines speaks that a man lives long who lives 100 years, yet half is sleep and half the rest again, old age and childhood. In these three lines, the poet is speaking about the journey of life of a man, that although a man live long, 100 years, yet his half life is spent in sleeping and half of the life is in rest in the old age and in childhood. For the rest, a man lives close companion to disease and tears. As I have told you earlier, that in this stanza, extremely pessimistic vision is conveyed. That's why the poet is saying that for the rest, a man lives close companion to disease and tears, losing his love, working for other men. Where can joy find a space in this short span? So, in this stanza, the bleakness of vision is suggested, and the poet is in a very pessimistic tone. The poet is speaking about the life cycle of a man, that half of the life of the man is spent in sleeping, half the rest in old age, and half of the life is spent in rest in old age and also in childhood, and the rest of the years of his life he lives with a companion to disease and tears. Losing the aspect of a man's life, working for other man. And in the last line, the poet is asking, where can joy find a space in this short span? The poet is asking the meaning of the life of a man, that in between all of these events, man's joy is nowhere to be found. And the sixth stanza start with these lines: do not go, I could say, but this is inauspicious. All right, go is a loveless thing to say. Stay with me is imperious. Do as you wish, suggest cold indifference. And if I say I will die when you are gone, you might or might not believe me. Teach me, my husband, what I ought to say when you go away. In this last selection, this is a focus on the love that exists between man and wife. So this stanza celebrates the relationship of husband and wife, and the distress means and the anxiety and the depression that accompanies while parting. In a rhetorical manner, the wife wonders what she should say when her husband is about to depart from her, and thinks of various options ranging from the plaintive to the cold and loveless. So the line are not so very terse to understand. The first line speaks about that don't go, I could say. This I here refer to the wife, and the wife is thinking that should I say don't go? But this is inauspicious, and due to Hindu culture, it is thought that to ask someone to not doing any work, it is considered as inauspicious. all right, go is a loveless thing to say. And the wife again wondering that if I say all right, go, prove me loveless, and stay with me is imperious. And again, the thinking is about staying with the husband and staying with the wife. This is also considered imperious for them. Do as you wish suggest cold indifference. And if I say, the wife is thinking, if I say do as you wish, so this in the two. And if I say I will die when you are gone, you might or might not believe me. Again, the wife is thinking that if I say that if you will go, I will die, this won't be believed by husband. So in the last line, the wife is giving up his thoughts and he is saying that teach me, my husband, what I ought to say, what I should speak when you go away. And in the last line, the wife is asking to her husband that you should teach me what to say when you go away, when you apart with me. So this is all about the poem. Is poetry always worthy when it is old? And this poem is an excerption from the works of Kalidas, Bhavbhuti, and Bhartrihari, and all of them are renowned Sanskrit poet and dramatist. So that's all about today, students. Thank you all.